Hello, it's Jennifer Savari, and today I'm here with Poppystamps as part of their Holiday Blog Blitz release. And I love the new dies that have come out in this release. There are so many fun, cute little Christmassy items, and that little moose could be used any time of year. So to get started, I made a box card, and I needed to make a background for the back panel and the front panels. And I used a memory box, couple of memory box stencils and some Ranger texture paste, and just simply went in and started going over top of them. I'm sure there's better ways to do this. I use paper, and I started off using a little palette knife, but I switched to an old steak knife, and I liked that better actually. But I love these designs that these stencils create, and just a super simple way to create some dimension as well as a great design. And so the panels are going to be out of the Snowflakes, and I created 3 front panels and 1 large back panel to fit along the back there. And again, I'm just going in with my paper to give it a nice smooth finish, and then there was my pattern. And it's just so much fun and easy to make. And I love this little stitched ornament set. It has a background die and then the little front pieces that glue right on. And the front pieces have embossing in them, and they just look so beautiful with gold. The vintage gold with the shiny gold is one of my favorite techniques to use. It's just such a stunning result, I think, and with the added Swarovski crystals at the end, I just absolutely love this die set. After I was done assembling them, I did put them under some weight to dry, and while they were drying, I went ahead and die cut 2 of the little moose and glued them together for some extra sturdiness there. And then once I was done with that, I went in with some vintage photo distress ink and just kind of gave them a little bit of color, and then a little bit of Wink Stella for a little bit of shimmer. I cut a piece of heavy acetate to use as the backing for the moose. So I'm actually going to glue him onto this acetate so that when I glue it into the box, there's something clear, making him more suspended. And so I just glued him on and let him dry. I did add a little wreath to his neck using red and green drops. Okay, so the front panels are made with a white background and a teal top. I'm adding scallops, but I wanted the scallops to be the same place on all panels, so I just made a little pencil mark on each of where the top of that scallop should be. And then I die cut them and glued them together. I ran the gold thread through the ornaments and glued the ornaments down, and then I just made little loops and glued that down. This glue dries clear, so I wasn't too worried about giving that a good dose of glue there. And then I just taped it onto the back, and it didn't really matter because this is going to be glued down. One thing I did do is I made little pencil marks of where I wanted the strings to stop and start on each one so that they continued throughout the little panels. Okay, so to make the box is so simple. There are dies out there that you can get to make these. This one will fit in a 6x6 envelope, and it will lay flat. Now you can make these flaps as long or as short as you want, and so I just made sure that it fit my panel and scored it there. And then you can see where I'm cutting. I'm just pretty much cutting little flaps out of the score lines. And then you'll see me go ahead and fold everything really nice and crisp with my bone folder. So here's where it starts getting really fun, and that's assembling this little box with all the panels. And I just glued the large panels on the front and the back there, and then put all the little snowflake panels on the bottom. Now, I didn't do anything on the top of those flaps because they're the underneath side, but those can be decorated as well. And I used a tape runner here, but I do recommend using glue just because those edges, you want them down nice and tight. I think the tape runner doesn't quite do this justice in this case. So I did use glue to put the front panels on, and here you can see how those little ornament lines all line up, and this is where we're at so far. So we've got the panels, the front, and the sides. And here you can see me going in, and I actually, it was not on very well, so I just glued that one, and then I added some weight to dry. These are the little panels that are going to go inside the box, and notice how the double stick tape is on opposite ends there. And I scored each one at 1/2 inches and did a little zigzag fold. And I made 4, but you can make as many or as few as you want. Now notice how I'm gluing them in. I'm just removing the adhesive tape there and then lining it up to make sure that it lays flat as I tape it in. And I did this with all 4 of them. The front one wasn't perfectly aligned spacing wise, but it worked. I should have done them a little bit closer together as I taped them down. So if they're pretty much touching, it would be perfect. And then I just removed the adhesive backing and laid them flat. And then I also, you can see here, this is just a little tab that's going to keep the box closed. Held them down, shut the box over top, made sure that that end lined up perfectly, and then the magic happens and you have a box card. And I know this idea has been around for a while, but it's new to me, and once you start making them, it's really hard to stop making them. They're so much fun to decorate and give, and people are just shocked when they see them. And so, you know, a million different decorations could go in here. I kept it super simple and did the Evergreen Trees from Poppystamps. And I just grouped them together a little bit in the front and a little bit in the back. I definitely wanted the moose to stand out, and so I kept the inner design just super simple here. And I just love these scallops. They have like a little wintertime snowflake feel to me, and I thought that they would just make adorable little snowbanks to give that just a little bit of interest in there, but yet still keeping it very simple. And I glued the little moose in and then continued with my snowbanks after he was assembled to the main base of the box. And as usual, sky is the absolute limit as to what could be done on the inside of this box, but like I said, just keeping it simple. And I added the cute little folk Merry Christmas and did some little bling on the front snowbank. And I was super excited of just how cute those ornaments looked with some little crystals on them. Nuvo drops would do the same thing. They would be adorable too. So anyway, this completed my little box card, and I love how this turned out. It was so much fun to make, and like I said, once you start making these, you're just kind of hooked on them because they're so much fun. I wanted to share a couple other ideas too. So here's a little tag that I made using the same basic idea of the box card. And then here's a little Be Jolly card just to give some fun ideas with the main design. So I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you again soon.